Why did the world suddenly go silent that morning in Manchester? Why were thousands of fans seen wiping tears from their eyes as if they had lost a part of themselves? And what made this funeral, unlike any other, feel more like the final round of a champion's greatest fight? These questions echoed through the hearts of millions as the city of Manchester came together to say a heartbreaking goodbye to one of its most beloved sons, Ricky Hatton, the boxing legend who had defined courage, passion, and raw emotion inside the ring. His funeral wasn't just a farewell, it was a reflection of his life, colorful, powerful, and unforgettable. The day began under gray clouds, as if the sky itself was mourning. Outside the Cheshire Cheese Pub, a place Ricky often visited to share laughter and stories with friends, hundreds gathered in quiet anticipation. Then, through the silence, came a sight that broke every heart present: a sky-blue coffin gleaming softly in the morning light. It wasn't just any coffin, it was a tribute to his soul. Sky blue, the color of his beloved Manchester City Football Club, with the words "Blue Moon" etched elegantly across the side. Blue Moon wasn't only the club's anthem, it was his song, the one that played every time he entered the boxing ring, carrying with it the pride of Manchester and the spirit of a fighter who never gave up. The emotional connection between Ricky and his city was visible in every tear, every cheer, and every trembling voice singing that same song as the coffin was lifted. The funeral procession began from the pub, winding slowly through Manchester streets, followed by a sea of people. Old and young, men and women, all stood shoulder to shoulder to witness the final journey of a man who had given them memories to last a lifetime. Leading the procession was a yellow Reliant Robin van, instantly recognized by fans as the iconic vehicle from the British comedy show Only Fools and Horses. It was a perfect touch of humor and warmth, because Ricky Hatton, even in death, hadn't lost his charm or his love for life's simple joys. As the van rolled on, fans clapped, waved flags, and sang Blue Moon softly. It felt less like a funeral and more like a final parade, a celebration of the fighter who brought glory to Manchester and joy to countless hearts. When the procession reached Manchester Cathedral, the air grew heavy with reverence. Inside, the grand walls of the historic church echoed with quiet sobs and whispered prayers. It wasn't just a funeral, it was a gathering of legends. From the boxing world came some of the greatest names: Tyson Fury, who once looked up to Hatton as a hero; Frank Bruno, the powerhouse of British boxing; Tony Bellew, Amir Khan, and Fraser Clark, all paying tribute to a man who had inspired them both in and out of the ring. Musician Liam Gallagher, frontman of Oasis and another Manchester icon, attended to honor his friend. Footballers like Wayne Rooney and Mike Summerbee, along with former England cricket captain Andrew "Freddie" Flintoff, were also there. Each face in that crowd carried its own story. A personal connection, a shared moment, a word of inspiration from Ricky that had once lifted their spirits. As the service began, a hush fell over the crowd. The Reverend of Manchester Cathedral spoke gently of Ricky's life, not as a celebrity, but as a son of Manchester. He gave everything to this city, the Reverend said. He fought not only in the ring, but in life, for his fans, for his family, and for the pride of being one of us. Ricky's brother Matthew Hatton and his son Campbell Hatton, who had walked the same boxing paths, stood as pallbearers. Their faces were pale, their eyes swollen from tears. When Campbell's turn came to speak, his voice cracked with emotion. "My dad wasn't just a boxer. He was my best friend. He taught me what it means to fight, with heart, not anger. He never gave up on anyone, even when life got tough. That's how I'll remember him." The entire cathedral fell into tears. Even hardened athletes and public figures wiped their eyes. When the choir began to sing Blue Moon, every person in attendance joined in. The song echoed through the cathedral like a wave of memory, every note reminding the crowd of Ricky's famous ring entrances, his smile, and the pride he brought to Manchester. Outside, fans waiting in the rain lifted scarves, flags, and signs that read, "Forever our champion" and "Once a Blue, always a Blue." Some played old recordings of his fights on their phones, cheering for him one last time. It wasn't just mourning, it was gratitude. The procession then made its way to Etihad Stadium, the home of Manchester City, for a private ceremony. It was a fitting final stop for the man who had represented the heart of the club's loyal fan base. At Etihad, surrounded by close friends and family, a quieter, more intimate service was held. The stadium, which once roared with energy, now stood in peaceful silence. The echo of Blue Moon played once again through the loudspeakers, soft, haunting, and beautiful. It was the last time the city would sing it for their hero. Ricky Hatton's story was one of grit and heart. From the working-class streets of Manchester to the bright lights of Las Vegas, he rose through sheer determination. Known for his aggressive style, humility, and humor, he became one of Britain's most adored sports figures. Yet, beyond the fame, he remained down to earth. Friends often recalled how Ricky would joke with fans at pubs, visit local gyms to inspire young boxers, and never refused a photo or autograph. He wasn't just a champion in the ring, he was one in life. In his later years, Hatton openly spoke about his struggles with mental health, encouraging others to seek help and never be ashamed of their pain. This honesty made him even more loved by his fans, who saw in him not just a fighter, but a survivor. As the day drew to a close, fans filled the area outside Manchester Cathedral with flowers, boxing gloves, photographs, and heartfelt notes. The message was the same everywhere. Thank you, Ricky. People who had grown up watching his fights shared stories with strangers. Fathers told their sons about how Ricky made them proud to be from Manchester. Mothers cried quietly, holding photos of him with his signature grin. Even though he was gone, it felt as if Ricky Hatton still lived in the soul of his city. Ricky Hatton's legacy is one of loyalty, love, and fight. His name will forever be spoken with reverence, not just in boxing history, but in the story of Manchester itself. He fought for glory, for fans, for pride, and he did it all with a heart bigger than any title he ever held. And on that day, as the blue coffin disappeared into the horizon, the city whispered together in one voice, "You'll never walk alone, Hitman. You fought your last fight well,